everyone, and welcome back to Fluento, Everyday English for Real Life. I'm Anna, and I'm so happy you're here with us today.
And I'm David. Always good to be here, Anna. You know, this topic today feels really close to home. It's something every English learner, and honestly, even native speakers sometimes, can relate to.
Absolutely. Today, we're diving into one of my favorite topics, how to train your mouth and your mind for English. It sounds a little funny, doesn't it? Like we're taking our mouth to the gym, but in a way, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, it really is. I remember the first time someone told me that speaking another language is a physical skill as much as a mental one. It kind of blew my mind, because I'd always thought of language as something you learn with your brain, grammar, vocabulary, reading, but no one told me my mouth had to learn too.
That's such a great point. When we think about learning English, we often picture books, screens, or maybe a classroom. But language actually lives in the body, in the rhythm of your breathing, in how your tongue moves, in how your lips shape sounds. That's why we say, train your mouth.
Exactly, and the mind part, that's about getting your brain to think in English, right?
Yes, both are connected. Your mouth produces, your mind processes, and when they work together, that's when fluency happens. But they need to be trained, and not just with words or rules, but with habits and feelings too.
I love that, with feelings. You know, that reminds me of when I was learning Spanish. I used to practice sentences out loud. But I sounded like a robot. My pronunciation was fine, but there was no life in it. One of my teachers told me, "David, don't just say the words, feel them." And that changed everything.
That's such a beautiful memory. Feeling the words. That's exactly what we want learners to experience in English. When you say, I'm happy, you're not just practicing vocabulary, you're expressing emotion. And your mouth learns to move differently when it's connected to that feeling.
Yeah, and that connection is so important for confidence, too. When you speak with emotion, you sound more natural. But when you're thinking too much about grammar or correctness, your speech gets stuck.
Right. It's like driving while staring at the gear stick instead of the road. You need to trust your mouth and mind to work together. And that trust comes from practice, not perfection.
Speaking of practice, Anna, can we talk about how learners can actually train their mouth, like in practical ways?
Of course. So, one of the most effective ways is called shadowing. It's when you listen to native speakers, maybe from a video or a podcast, and repeat what they say almost at the same time, not after, but as closely as possible.
Yeah, it's like being someone's shadow. You mimic their rhythm, tone, and pronunciation. I remember doing that with some British podcasts. I'd walk around the house repeating sentences like, "Would you fancy a cup of tea?" until I could say it naturally.
That's perfect. Shadowing trains your muscles to copy natural patterns. It's not about understanding every single word. It's about letting your mouth get used to English sounds. Even if it feels awkward at first, that discomfort means you're building new habits.
That's a key word. Habits. It's not about talent. People often say, "Oh, I'm not good at languages," but it's not about being good or bad. It's about building muscle memory, just like learning to play guitar or ride a bike.
Exactly. The first time you try, it feels impossible, but little by little, your body learns. That's why repeating simple English phrases every day is such a powerful exercise.
Like warm-ups for your mouth.
Yes, when you wake up, you can say short phrases. I'm ready. Let's go. Good morning. Say them with feeling. Try different tones, happy, sleepy, excited. It's not just pronunciation, it's rhythm and emotion training.
I love that. And you can do it anywhere, really. When I was practicing my French, I used to talk to myself while cooking. I'm cutting the vegetables. The water is boiling. I'm hungry. It felt silly, but it worked.
It's such a simple but powerful method. When you describe what you're doing in English, you bring the language into your real life. Your brain starts connecting words with actions, and that's how you start to think in English.
Ah, thinking in English. That's the big one, isn't it? Everyone wants to reach that stage where they stop translating in their heads.
Yes, and the truth is, it happens naturally when you use English regularly. You don't have to force it. Start with single words. If you see a cat, think cat, not the word in your native language. Then, when you're comfortable, move to short sentences. The cat is sleeping. Step by step, your brain learns to stay in English mode.
That's exactly how I felt when I started dreaming in another language for the first time. It was such a strange but amazing experience, like my brain had switched channels overnight.
That's a milestone moment, but it's also important not to chase it too hard. Some people pressure themselves. I must think in English all day. That just adds stress. Instead, enjoy little moments, like ordering coffee or talking to yourself while walking. Those moments build fluency.
That makes so much sense. This reminds me of something cultural too. In English-speaking countries, people often value communication over perfection. They appreciate when someone tries, even if their grammar isn't perfect.
That's true. In many cultures, making mistakes in language feels embarrassing. But in English, it's usually seen as brave. People love hearing accents. It shows effort and authenticity.
Right. I remember once in London, a woman at a cafe said to me, "I like your accent. Where are you from?" And that instantly broke the ice. It made me realize my accent was part of my identity, not something to hide.
Yes, your accent tells your story. It's not a mistake. It's your signature. And when you accept it, speaking becomes much easier. You stop judging yourself and start enjoying communication.
That's such a freeing idea. This whole topic, training your mouth and your mind, it's really about connection, not perfection.
Beautifully said. Connection with yourself, with others, and with the language itself. When you speak English, you're building bridges, even if the bridge shakes a little at first.
I love that. A shaky bridge still gets you across.
Exactly. And every time you cross it, it gets stronger. So be kind to yourself when you practice. Celebrate the small wins, like pronouncing a difficult word correctly or saying a full sentence without stopping.
Yeah, I always tell my students, fluency isn't about speed. It's about flow. It's like music. The pauses are part of the rhythm.
That's so true. And speaking of rhythm, pronunciation often improves when learners practice with songs or poetry. It helps your mouth feel the beat of English.
Oh yes, I used to sing Beatles songs to improve my pronunciation. Let it be, let it be. And somehow singing helped me remember the words and sounds much faster.
Because singing connects memory, emotion, and speech, the perfect trio. That's why children learn through songs. Adults can do the same.
That's encouraging. We've talked a lot about speaking and thinking, but I think there's also a mental part. Motivation. Staying consistent when progress feels slow.
Yes, that's often the hardest part, is keeping faith in the process. But I like to remind learners that language is not a race. It's a relationship. Some days it feels easy, some days it's frustrating, and that's okay.
That's so comforting. And like any relationship, you have to show up every day, even for 5 minutes.
Exactly. 5 minutes a day builds more progress than 2 hours once a month. Consistency creates comfort. Your mouth remembers, your brain adapts, and suddenly what once felt hard feels natural.
I've seen that happen. I had a student named Lewis. He practiced shadowing short dialogues every morning for just 10 minutes. In 3 months, his confidence skyrocketed. He didn't learn new grammar. He just repeated, listened, and spoke daily.
That's a perfect example. Small daily actions transform your fluency. And it's also about environment, surrounding yourself with English. Watch shows, read articles, listen to podcasts, change your phone language.
Even memes. I've learned so much slang from memes.
Absolutely. Memes, YouTube comments, everyday English. That's real language. And it makes learning fun.
You know what's funny is when you make English part of your daily world, it stops being, study time. It just becomes life.
Yes, that's when you know your mouth and mind are truly trained. When English feels like part of who you are, not something you do.
That's beautiful. And it's a reminder that every learner's journey is unique. There's no right pace, no perfect accent, just your voice growing stronger each day.
And that's what we hope this episode inspires. Not perfection, but practice, courage, and connection. Speak even when you're afraid. Think even when you're unsure. Your mouth will guide your mind, and your mind will guide your heart.
I love that. And remember, your brain follows your mouth. The more you speak, the faster your brain catches up.
Yes, so don't wait for confidence to start. Start, and confidence will follow. You're not just learning English, you're becoming part of a global community of voices.
And your voice matters. It doesn't need to sound like anyone else's. It just needs to be yours.
Beautifully said, David. So to everyone listening, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in your progress. English will open when you open your mouth and heart to it.
That's the Fluento spirit. Thank you for spending this time with us. If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it with someone learning English and tell us what small habit you'll start this week to train your mouth and your mind.
We love hearing your stories. Until next time, keep growing, keep smiling, and keep speaking your truth in English.
See you next time, everyone.
Bye for now.